So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how everyone's going to be playing the brand new Team of the Year updated gameplay. We're going to talk about how everything is affected by that, both positively, negatively, and how the market will react. But before we do get underway with today's video, if you guys are interested, I do have a daily subscriber trading service / Discord. All you got to do is subscribe over on Twitch, which you can do for free of Amazon Prime. All you got to do there is click on the top link in the description and subscribe. It is either free with Amazon Prime, if not £5, €5, or $6. In there, you'll get yourself daily updated investments. Some investments that did extremely well, making people over like triple or quadruple what they bought them at was a bunch of gold players for yesterday's upgrade SBC, if I can find them. For example, we got Eze, who we can see right there. We recommended buying at 800 coins. Well, yesterday he went all the way up there to 3.6k. We then move on to the likes of Sancho, who we recommended yesterday up to 900 coins, and he got all the way up there to 2.2k 1 hour later. We then move on to, if I can find the other players, we then move on to Jack Butland, and Jack Butland went all the way from 900 coins and again went up to 2.2k. And finally we got the likes of Galacci, and Galacci went all the way from, where do you go, from 900 coins all the way up there to 1.7. So really good profit, and again that was literally buying and selling in less than an hour and tripling, quadrupling your coins. So yeah, on top of that we've also had loads of good investments, which we'll be talking a little bit about briefly in today's video. But what is today's video about? Well, today's video is about how I just recorded the exact video 20 minutes ago and forgot to have the mic turned on. So I'll probably go through this one quite slapdash before driving myself clinically insane. So we got ourselves some brand new pitch notes which are going to change the way how people play. Well, why do they change the way people play? There are 2 or 3 main effects. The first main effect comes from basically defenders are going to catch away with defenders are going to catch away with forwards a lot less when forwards are on the ball. This is what's happened all the way up until this year, and we can see that centre backs have very easily been able to catch up with forwards, almost no matter what the pace of the forward is or what the pace of the defender is. Well, that's been nerfed, and now you can see right here that the defenders are still progressively catching with the strikers, but not at as fast rate as they were previously. What's this going to affect? Well, this is going to affect one of 2 things. One, it is going to buff pacey strikers, players with rapid, players with quick step. A lot of these winter wildcards who've got 99 pace, so like the Lap, Alawari, Diaby, Adeyemi, we can expect these cards being buffed now that pace is a bigger impact. And we can also expect the players being nerfed that the only thing they have going for them is pace. For example, Lacroix. His stats, he's got 82 physical and 81 defending. He might as well just be a striker shoved at centre-back. On top of that, he has no defensive playstyle. So because he's a bit of a one-trick pony and that one trick has been nerfed, like no one cares about pace, well, not as much. You know, the idea is his demand will go down, and if you have him in your team, the ability of him will go down. So with someone like Van der Ven, more so with the Inform card, and that's again because 86 physical and 87 defending is not as high as what else you can get for 140k. And then on top of that, he's only got himself 2 defending playstyles. So yeah, your pacey centre-backs who don't really offer much have been nerfed. The players that have basically been buffed are those that have a higher defending and physical stat, for example the Konate, who we got in the season pass, and Dunk, again another card where he doesn't have as much pace but his defending and physical both over 90, which in theory has now been buffed. The second thing that EA went and changed in these pitch notes is, I mean they've done a bunch regarding passing and AI movement, but there isn't any sort of like overall player who's been nerfed or buffed from that, is the tackle back situation. So this is what we've had all the way through this year, where you know you run into a player and it could just bounce off in any sort of angle. But this is now what's been implemented, where there's a much higher chance that the defender will dispossess the ball, but then maintain to have the ball rather than it pinging off. What is this going to go and affect? Well, this is going to go and affect centre backs with basically higher defending and physical, but more so players who go and have more so the players who go and have Anticipate. That's because the Anticipate playstyle, what it does is an improved chance of standing tackle success and grants ability to stop the ball directly at their feet when performing a standing tackle. Obviously, previously, when performing a standing tackle, the ball would just ping off anywhere, but now the idea is Anticipate has been buffed because there's now an even higher chance that it kind of follows through and doesn't ping off somewhere. What our players have been buffed for this? Players like Tar, again, high defending and physical, and he's got Anticipate Plus. And then Company was also a good one. Something we also went and checked was the likes of Yat Stam. Obviously, his SBC's been dropped recently. He's got very high physical, very high defending, which works in favour of the newest update. And on top of that, he's got himself Anticipate Minor. So, yeah, I mean, looking like a great card to go and complete over the likes of Team of the Year. That's kind of that for the update. I mean, there are a few things in there, including near post has been nerfed. They've also buffed in the box finesse shots and power shots. A bit about movement. They've also increased the effectiveness of quick tiki-taka passing. So maybe we're going to see the tiki-taka playstyle plus being pushed a bit more. Over the top through balls have also been buffed. And yeah, other than that, there's a little bit of rush news. But you can go and check this out just googling FC25 pitch notes. Do we have a number for the pitch notes? FC25 the pitch notes gameplay refresh update. There you go. I'm sure you'll find it. So let's go and talk about the content we got in the last 24 hours. First bit of that was Vieira. We got Vieira SBC. He was cheaper than anticipated. We anticipated being about 1.4, came out at 1.1. What has that gone and done to the market? Well, I'll be honest with you, it didn't really crash centre mids. I mean, Vieira has been leaked for about 3-4 days now, so it's not like a surprise. The players that are predominantly down are De Bruyne, and, well, Vieira. Other than that, we don't really see too many expensive centre mids being the top 100 players who've dropped. I mean, Salah's in there, but yeah, apart from that, we haven't really seen a heavy drop on the likes of centre mids. The only players again would have been De Bruyne, Total Rush card, De Bruyne, Thunderstruck card, and Patrick Vieira. And again, he wasn't anticipated to be this cheap, which is why I went from 1.3 down there to 1.1 mil. And yeah, there's that. The other content we got was a generic SBC. Obviously, we just already shown you all the players that went up for that. The reason these players went up is because you could only use 4 nations. Everyone had to be rare and high chemistry. Why does Galacci go up, I may sit here, you ask? Because, of course, he's not a top 5 nation. It's because the Bundesliga does not have any rare goalkeepers apart from Fodder. Because they don't have any rare goalkeepers apart from Fodder, when people are using Germany, a top 5 nation, they'll predominantly use the likes of Galacci, which is why he does well. And then it's also why Butland's done well despite being in a minor league. On top of that, we only got ourselves an 87 plus campaign mix pick. Didn't really do anything to the market. I don't think anyone really cares too much about it. But it's another thing, I guess, to go and eat up people's fodder. And then on top of that, we only got ourselves the 5x 83 plus midfielder pack with the exact same requirements we got last year. Meaning we're now 2 for 2 for the exact same requirements as last year. Meaning today we should get a 5x 83 plus defender requiring an 186 and an 84 rated team. Numeric foots have had great rises. Again, we recommended a lot of these in the trading Discord earlier in the week. Let me walk you through some of the investments that have done well. We got Becker, who we recommended at 145 earlier in the week. And you can see he's already up to 186. We then have Pickford, who we recommended for 42k earlier in the week. And you can see he's already up to 60. We then move on to the likes of Saar, who recommended at 200 and what would have been 200 and we recommended on the Tuesday. Would have been about 240k. And she is up to 290. We then move on to Jan Quattro, who we recommended at 130. If we can go and find that on the Tuesday. There you go, about 130. He's up to 165. And finally, we've got Denzel Dumfries, who we recommended at 265. And he is already up at 320. So great success on these cards already. Yeah, just great success on these cards already. And the favourite to keep rising till Tuesday. What hasn't done as well recently, Team of the Weeks. Team of the Weeks obviously got very heavy invested all weekend. They did go from, I think it was about 12 to 17, but they're back down as of yesterday. In fact, they crashed a fair bit yesterday. Personally, I'm going to wait till Friday evening and then I'll go and buy them. But yeah, interesting. Interesting that obviously they're needed for a daily repeatable, yet they crashed due to overinvestment. But again, the SBC that they're needed for, the 10x83, which are repeatable 3 times a day for the next like 13 days. I still think there will be an investment on Friday, and I think they can rise after that. Now, talking a little bit about leaking content. Let's see what's come out. Future Stars Future Star packs have been added to the database, meaning more likely than not there'll be the promo that follows Team of the Year, if not the promo that follows that, which is sometimes road to the knockout stages. We have had Future Stars following Team of the Year in the past, so it'll be interesting to see what they do for that. Other leaks that we've got, if it wants to go and load up. Zidane, there is 2 things regarding Zidane. One is that we're going to get a Zidane-inspired Evo. If you guys remember, we got a Jude Bellingham-inspired Evo. I think it was at the beginning of December, where basically gave a gold card Bellingham stats. Well, we might get the same sort of thing for Zidane, where they give him 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot. Probably going to be free as well, so it'll be quite interesting to see what they do for that. Although saying that, we've had a lot of paid Evos, which you know, simulate, I guess, heroes and icons stats. For Women's Team of the Year is released, and there's a little bit more variation than the men's. If you missed it yesterday, the men's is just Liga and Premier League. Well, there's a little bit of Liga 1, a little bit of, Liga 1 F, or whatever it's called, and then a little bit of NWSL. But again, loads of Barcelona women cards, no real surprise there. And yeah, a few Chelsea cards in there, which is quite nice. We then move on to some other stuff that's been leaked, and this is really, really blindsided. They decided to go and add Javinia, Doumbia and Ibarba, and apparently they've been leaked as icons, but we're not quite sure how we're going to drop them. Obviously, legendary FIFA players. So, yeah, pretty cool. Maradona and Beckenbauer, both cards that have been in FIFA, but got removed in recent years, especially Maradona. I think there's a massive legal case. So, interesting to see what they're going to do with that, if these are going to follow through. If not, yeah, really cool if they're going to bring back Javinia, Doumbia and Ibarba, because, I mean, Elisa Barber maybe wasn't so legendary for his footballing performance, but he definitely was in FIFA, so really cool card. We've got official stats on senior attackers, nothing above an 87 rated, which is pretty interesting, with previous years having like 98s and 99s. Just allowing there to be more room after team of the season, I'd imagine. But yeah, nice cards there. Triple playstyle pluses, very nice, very nice. We then go and move on to the first of the SBCs released come during Team of the Year, and that is Iker Casillas. Now this will go and crash goalkeepers, although I'm going to gamble that he isn't going to be on Friday and then sell the goalkeepers, those numeric goalkeepers, on Saturday. He will go and crash goalkeepers. The exact same thing happened with the likes of Lloris last year, and I'd be very surprised if it doesn't happen with Casillas. Why is it crash goalkeepers? Because we go so long without goalkeeper SBCs that when we do get one, it crashes the market, and of course there's no Evo one. Like I said with the Zidane earlier, there is a Zidane Evo coming, but there's also a pack in the code which contains one 2002 era Zidane. So is this going to be a way how EA is slowly transitioning onto you buying players on the market, or is this going to be a free pack that everyone gets and gives you quite a subdued, I guess Zidane might be the right word. We then move on to Mika, this guy, who's coming out as an objective, and again his main link investment, well, his base card is nothing too insane, no playstyle plus, 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot, but his main link investments are Cherokee, who I think is pretty risky. Links to Zaha if you done his SBC a while ago, but then I think the main one that he links to is the likes of Davidishvili. This guy, like 13k, it can't hurt. I think it's about 11.5k before the leak, so, you know, max you lose a k. Hey, depending on what they do to his card regarding playstyles and so on, he could do quite nicely. What I did go and research is how did last year's objective player do. Last year's objective player was McCabe, and she went and came out on the 19th. Well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't see great trends with her link investments. So McCabe came out on the 19th of January. I can just move here, and we can see that Little went from 57 to 58. So even though she was probably McCabe's best link investment, she didn't rise just because there was no link. There was no demand for the McCabe. Likewise with Williamson, if we can go and jump over here to January, we can see that Williamson, again, with the release of McCabe, went up there like 3k, but that was about it. So no guarantee that the link investment will do well to Midaz, but if you want to invest, it's not too risky. The potentially more interesting SBC that's been leaked is Kevin De Bruyne. He's been linked with an extremely good card, and it's kind of the card I do expect us to go and get on Friday, because the equivalent of last year we went and got Bruno Fernandes on Friday. And they're actually quite comparable cards, with De Bruyne being definitely better. Yeah, obviously this year we're kind of ahead of the curve of last year by one playstyle, as in this time last year players only had one playstyle and then we moved on to two, whereas this year we're on two moving on to three. But yeah, very, very similar card. I mean, I think, was it? De Bruyne has like +3 pace, same shooting, +1 passing, +4 dribbling, and +1 physical. I'd imagine they'll have very similar skill moves and weak foot, and yeah, both kind of cams that can slightly play centre mid. As a result, what's going on with this De Bruyne leak? Obviously, we've seen this card absolutely crash in price, go from 1.5 down to a mil. And then we saw his total rush card also crash recently. What do I think will be the best in link investments to him? I can imagine Haaland can do well. Ake can do well if you don't mind holding on for a while, because obviously John Stones is still out for another like 6-7 days. And when John Stones goes away, that's when Ake and another one of the players will have a decent rise. Salvinho, I think he can have a nice rise with the likes of De Bruyne coming out. We'll talk about in a second about when we're actually going to go and buy these cards. And again, Akanji, I think you're going to have to wait about 6 days until this Stones expires, and then I think you can go and see him rise. So, because obviously we got Bruno Fernandes, the equivalent last year, I thought I'd go and show you how did the the Bruno Fernandes links do. Again, Bruno came out on the 19th. We saw a little bit of pre-hype, him going up 13k, but then he just went back down the day after. But then actually for the next month, because he would have been available for next month, proceeded to rise from 108 up there to 171. So what that showed us is they rose in the hype, they then went down and you could invest in them then, and then they proceeded to rise nicely till the end of the month. We can see the same sort of thing happen here with the likes of Ruben Diaz, where he went from 107 up to 119 in the hype, but then actually dropped back down there to 105, but then even ended up at 141. Basically the exact same sort of trend as Casemiro. Rashford, alright, Rashford's a 3 million coin card, so I'll be honest with you, I'm not too sure if he was too affected, but again, we can show you that Bruno came out here, he went up 100k, he then went back down again, and then proceeded to go and rise 1 million coins. Wouldn't credit that so much to Bruno because of how expensive that Rashford card is. Then moving on to Varane's Thunderstruck card, quite an interesting trend right here, where I'm sure this is where the leaks would have come out, and he went from 400k up to 500k, then went down to the lower end of 500k, but then proceeded to rise to 660. So again, rose in the pre-hype, then dropped till the Thursday, which would be the 23rd this year, then rose for about a month after that. We could then go look at like a mid-tier Rashford. This would have been something probably more affected due to the prices. And again, we can head over here. We can see he went up in the pre-hype, then down, and then rose. So I think for the De Bruyne links, if the De Bruyne links are up already, I would just go and wait a few days after the De Bruyne. If they're not up already, you could go and buy them. If they go down, just be patient because you can see that these all eventually rose. Interesting enough, same thing with Højlund, where he went up here to 103. He then dropped for a week, but then by the end of it was rising. Might be because he went in for an Evo though. Garnacho again shows another trend of a cheap player actually doing quite well. If we move on here to January, we can see, boom, that the SBC came out here. So again, we can see it rose in the pre-hype. Then he dropped through to the 25th, which will be the 23rd this year. And then he rose from 53 to 86. And finally, we can go and show Varane, just because I think this could be a decent little investment. Varane, we can see dropped, Varane, we can see here, rose about 50k in the pre-hype. Then he proceeded to drop, and then he rose again. So I would personally either buy now if they're not inflated, but if they are inflated, just wait a few days after, then buy, and again, hold for a week or two. And that kind of goes and wraps this up for the second time of recording. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this, and yeah, I shall see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.